Alright guys, Crystal Palace and Liverpool just drawn 0-0 in, for me, a Liverpool fan, a very frustrating game. We weren't good enough. A draw in the end I think was probably the fair result. I think Crystal Palace in the first half had the better chances, although it was an even game, and in the second half Liverpool dominated possession, but just didn't do enough with it. There were very few occasions in the game where we actually tested Vicente Guaita, and I don't think, if any, there were like times where Guaita was like tested to see like what he's fully capable of. Like there were a couple of occasions where he had to make saves, but they were never saves where you're thinking, oh, he's done well there. Like the two moments in the game where Liverpool managed to get forward and get a shot off on goal were Salah breaking forward in the first half. The one he pulled wide of the near post, and the other he tried to curl it into the far corner, but in the end, Guaita caught it fairly comfortably. But yeah, Palace had the better opportunities in the first half, and they both, well, the two main ones that fell to Mateta, they were both caused due to just incompetence on the ball from Liverpool's defenders. Jean-Philippe and Trent Alexander-Arnold in the first half were just dilly-dallying too much and gave the ball away. Robertson had a couple of moments where he was slow to react to things and let the Palace players nip in front of him. It just wasn't good enough from Liverpool, to be honest, and obviously the player who got subbed off at half time, Naby Keita, just shocking in terms of his performance, and also the fact that he got booked and then decided he's still going to smash into players like a bull in a china shop. Ridiculous. I don't know what on earth was going through his head, because on another day he could have picked up another booking and been sent off in the first half. It's the second time from memory that I've seen Keita have to be hooked off at half time due to a poor performance. The other occasion was in Madrid against Real Madrid in 2021 in the Champions League quarter final, and he didn't play much again after that. And to be honest, I hope the same happens again, because Keita, it just hasn't been good enough the past few years. I think the first couple of seasons he had at Liverpool, he was alright. He wasn't anything special, I don't think, but on the whole, his performances weren't that bad. But since roughly the pandemic, he just hasn't been good enough, and I can't see any way that he stays on with Liverpool after this summer when his contract runs out. And yeah, it just wasn't good enough from Liverpool today. Not enough chance creation, too sluggish on the ball. Even Harvey Elliott, who came on for Keita at half time, gave the ball away far too much. I guess you could say he looked to get it forward, but he still wasn't good enough. It was still too sloppy. The passing wasn't good enough. But for Palace, though, I think you have to give them some credit to make sure that they were still fairly solid defensively, because I think even when you are coming up against a bit of a lacklustre Liverpool team at the minute, you still have to make sure that you don't make any errors, because at the end of the day you are coming up against Salah, Jota in this game, Gakpo as well, who has scored 2 goals in his last 2 Premier League games. So you have to make sure still that you're not making any errors, because if those players do get a good chance, they will punish you. But yeah, all Palace had to really do in this game was get the basics right, and they had a good chance of getting something out of it, and in the end they did. And if anything, they were unlucky not to take more out of it, because they should have scored in the first half. Mateta hitting the bar on that really good chance, and the other one he didn't get hold of at all, where he tried to chip it over Alisson. So yeah, on another day, Palace could have got more out of this game, I think, so that they will feel a bit unlucky about that. And yeah, just really wasn't good enough for Liverpool. And the question is, what do Liverpool do from here? I mean, I don't believe we have a chance in the Champions League. People go on about, but Barcelona in 2019. That Liverpool team in 2019 picked up 97 points that year and 99 points the following year. This Liverpool team will be lucky if we get 65 right now. And very lucky. I think 60 is probably what we're projecting to get right now. So yeah, it's really not good enough. And it needs investment in the summer, this team, because there's not been enough players brought in certain key areas. I think you look at the defence, the only centre back I can remember Liverpool signing since we signed Van Dijk is Konate. And yeah, I think it is just Konate really in terms of players who are going to come straight into the first team fold. And central midfielders, other than Thiago, I think that there hasn't been anyone in the last 4 years. And Thiago, to be honest, there's been a fitness liability. And when he's on the pitch, he plays well, but he doesn't play to the style of everyone else, which he doesn't really play a style of football that suits Liverpool. And I know the comeback to that would be, well, right now Liverpool don't seem to be playing any sort of style. It just seems to be throw 11 players onto the pitch and hope for the best. And there's truth to that. You know, Liverpool's football over the past 3 years has been based on having a really lethal, deadly attack in Salah, Firmino, Mane, or more recently Jota and Diaz at the end of last season. Having a really hard-working midfield, Henderson, Fabinho, Wijnaldum was, for me, the best midfield three we've had. Milner also did a solid job in that midfield as well, same with Lallana. And for a couple of seasons, well, maybe more than a couple, 3 or 4 seasons, a really solid defence and goalkeeper in Alisson. That's just the defence doesn't seem to be the same. It doesn't have the same solidity that it's had this season compared to previous years, and the midfield hasn't got the same legs because a lot of the players have aged, and you know they've played a lot of football in the past few years. And as I've said, Thiago, the only new midfielder we've signed in the past few years. I know there have been youth players like Elliott, Curtis Jones, Bajcetic more recently. But, you know, it's rare that youth players come into the team and manage to hold down a place. In fact, Alexander-Arnold is the only player who's really done that. Elliott's sort of done it this season, I guess, because I mean he has played the vast majority of games, but it's a season where Liverpool have declined. So I think Trent is the only real academy product that Liverpool have had where he's managed to come in and hold a place in the team whilst the team are doing very well. So, you know, Liverpool are crying out for a new central midfielder. Liverpool haven't managed to replace Wijnaldum, really, if we're being honest. Because Wijnaldum, right up until he left the club, was putting in solid performances. And he left the club because we didn't offer him a new contract. That summer, we didn't sign anybody other than Konate. We needed to, we didn't. And we've got so many players that are going to be leaving on free contracts this summer, like Oxlade-Chamberlain, Keita. Firmino currently isn't signing, well, hasn't signed a new contract, so he's free to leave at the end of the season. I'm hoping he does sign a new contract because I still think he has something to offer, whether it's in the starting 11 or not. But I think over a 50-game season, which is hopefully what Liverpool will play, I think he does have, you know, moments in him. I don't think he's you know, past his best. In fact, at the start of this season, he showed some of the best form of his Liverpool career so far, in terms of goal scoring wise. So I'd offer Firmino a new contract. I don't think it's the attack that's the problem, to be honest. It is just, we need young, like, talented midfield or two, and another centre back, because we haven't, you know, got good enough centre backs really. Van Dijk and Canate are two good centre backs, but Gomez isn't hitting the levels at all this season, and Matip has been shaky at times this season, especially after a good season last year. So yeah, anyway, Palace did really well to get a point out of this game. Liverpool, it's just, you know, drifting is the word really. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.